response of matter as motions to the influences coming from a spirit are again reflected back to the same spirit, by returning from that channel of influence. In this way, in depending on the necessities of original principle and by the help of these powers, the indirect relation of spirit and matter is established, and spirit gets, for that moment, what it gets from matter. Afterwards, according to the new needs of that spirit, its observations continue via the same ways and manners in other matter, either existing at the same matter stage or in a higher matter stage. For the spirits at the initial stage, an evolutionary need of a spirit corresponds to every moment of matter in the developing state. In other words, any state of the development in matter becomes a mechanical application ground for any spirit. The state of spirits here is only to obey those motions. The stage we mention is the initial and crudest stage of the universe. This stage, which is darkness for us, exists below the hydrogen stage we will mention later. All proceedings at this stage are executed in accordance with necessities of the original principle, but within the scope of the governance mechanism encompassing the universe, which is established by the unitary in the uppermost boundary of universe, through ways of which we do not know. We can only say, although vaguely, that the progress of novice spirits that need to evolve at this stage is subject to a mechanical and passive evolutionary principle, because the evolutions of spirits at this initial simple matter stage are not easy and fast as the development of matter. Spirits at this stage do not remain connected to a single matter. At each moment they change milieux. In this way, a spirit leaves a matter which is relatively more advanced than itself to a more deserving spirit. It continues to progress as always passive, that is, without intervening with matter motions in the simpler matter within the lower matter stages in which it exists with its slow progression. This initial stage advances from spirit's first involvement with the universe until it reaches the first hydrogen atom of matter. This spirit has not yet been in possession of a body in the universe, because there are not yet any powers in it to gather universe matter. Because of this, it will only be subjected to a passive and mechanical progress in the simple matter states in accordance with the necessities of the sublime principles, which appreciate its first needs in the face of the universe, filtrating from the unitary. During that time, it will not have a material identity manifesting as comprehension, will, consciousness and freedom in universe. Gaining such an identity will only be possible gradually, in conformity with the order of sublime principles, in proportion to its needs, which after cycles as long as infinity it will go through, always as passive and mechanical amidst amorphous matter. Because of this, for spirits at these initial matter stages, there are no active states entailing will, freedom and comprehension. They have not yet been connected to some matter constitutions in the universe. These novice spirits, while at this stage, for their simple reflections to be developed through mechanical ways, they are made to encounter myriad states and motions of matter by being plunged in and out. These words are not true but symbolic, because spirits can never be plunged into matter, of one matter state to another, and if necessary into another matter state. In matter at this initial stage, there are none of the motions and forms seen in our universe. And these are in formless, amorphous, disarrayed states, relative to our realm, which their general ensemble brings out of an amorphous milieu. Following this developmental stage of initial universe matter, a higher state, which we call the hydrogen state, the one our cosmos is subject to, will occur. Now, we give knowledge relating to this stage. Primary matter, which is the beginning of our cosmos, is composed of matter of the primal, disarrayed milieu which makes up the initial universe stage. We have seen that matter constitutions come into existence in our cosmos through the duality principle and value differentiation mechanism. As a consequence of this reality, the occurrence of initial states and forms of the original substance in our cosmos must be studied together with these mechanisms. Knowledge to be given about the stirrings of the initial atom of the hydrogen cosmos with the world's language and words will rather be symbolic, and depend on intuitions. For, mankind actually has no knowledge at all about the forms and qualities of the initial motions in the cosmos. We have said that as human comprehension stops in the realities belonging above our cosmos after a certain point, neither can it probe beyond a certain point below it. However, the bases of the laws and principles that are valid in our matter universe are one. Here, what changes are not these bases, but forms and manifestations of these laws and principles, occurring according to cosmoses. This situation helps mankind to attain some comparative intuitions that they need about various realities belonging to the lower and higher parts of our cosmos, so these intuitions are enough to complement the knowledge about the universe for mankind. Now we may start to explain how the initial hydrogen atom is constituted. We have previously said that the initial matter of our cosmos is the hydrogen atom, and this is completely different from the hydrogen atom known by mankind and is but a very primitive version of it. Again, we have also mentioned that, because it is the initial matter of our realm, this atom, which is so simple and primal that mankind cannot recognize it, is a matter closest to the amorphous state. As mentioned before, in the universe, this initial stage, ruled by the mechanical evolution principle, is only composed of an infinite, dark, disarrayed and amorphous milieu which is the substage of hydrogen atom. Evolution here has been connected to a completely mechanical system. At this stage, matter is not gathered but disarrayed. Because the spirits, which at this stage are only rendering mechanical applications, have not yet attained the power to gather matter. Because of this, these simple spirits follow a primal path of evolution which is endlessly mechanical and impossible for mankind to understand, drifting by jumping from this matter to that matter, without connecting any matter, due to the sublime necessities of original sources, amidst the disarrayed, formless matter of this primal milieu. And here, as they are evolving passively, after a long cycle that seems like eternity, some of these spirits slowly become advanced enough in their evolution to gather this disarrayed matter. As a ground for the following evolution of a spirit that has reached such a state, an influence comes from the unitary upon a point within this amorphous milieu. This influence, despite displaying characters opposing each other, as one belonging to a spirit that is connected to that matter, that is, belonging to a spirit that attained the state of becoming able to grasp that matter, and another belonging to the constitution of that matter which is in the process of constitution, is composed of two influences supporting, complementing each other, in short, directed to the same target. And of course, both of these are again, a manifestation of the original influence which appears two-fronted in the universe. These two opposite influences constitute a matter unity, that is, a duality unit. These components are part of the amorphous matter existing in that milieu, immobilized into a congregated state under the incoming influences, because the magnetic field caused by these motions collect this disarrayed matter together. And these motions are the initial motions of the hydrogen cosmos that are arranged by the original influences in accordance with the necessities of connecting a spirit to that atom. Fields that are composed of such initial atoms bring out the initial states of myriad nebulous fields that make up all the bodies, spheres and systems of the astronomical cosmos. So, a spirit has been connected to the initial atom which originated in this way. In other words, the need of this spirit to connect to this atom has caused the occurrence of this atom due to necessities of the original principle. And the original influence, descending into an amorphous milieu by carrying the necessities of this need of spirit, has provided its connection with this atom. So, hydrogen atoms that are composed of two components, opposing each other but in a state of equilibrium, make up the primary matter in the simple states of our cosmos.